Fangirl review. Fangirl review. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. We are back for another financial literacy for content creators. I previously did it for about taxes, and we had a two accountants. This time around, we are doing financial literacy for content creators in terms of retirement, life insurance, but basically end of life planning, and when it comes time to retire, what are you going to do? What are your plans, especially for content creators? If you are somebody who is specifically not working a regular 9 to 5 job, you have to really do your life planning because you are on your own. You do not have an agency forcing you to plan your future. So with me, I have a few different financial advisors, real estate agent, everything in between, and yeah, I like to have my people on here. So, at the top, we have Joey. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Joe. Joe.
Oh, hey guys, how you guys doing? I'm Joseph. I'm a financial literacy advisor. I sell life insurance. I've been doing this for, I want to say, 2 years now. So if you have any life insurance questions, definitely shoot them out at me, and I'll try to give you the answer you want.
And I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And next, under Joe, we have Nick. Nick, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about who you are, what you can do.
Hey guys, I'm looking at the chat. I actually know a few people in the chat, so that's great. Some of y'all know me from Twitch, right? Nick, no nickname, but outside of that, I am a financial advisor, also a real estate agent. So I'm just here to share some information with you guys about how you can plan for the future. It doesn't necessarily have to just be end of life, but definitely for that as well. And like Joe said, any questions you got, we're definitely going to get them answered for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you for being here and agreeing to be on the panel. And last but not least, we have Milton, who's right above me.
Hi guys, my name is Milton. I am a financial advisor as well. I specialize in life insurance, annuities, long-term care, 401ks as well. I'm here as well to give you guys as much information as possible, and let's make sure we plan for the future appropriately.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
I
Everybody in
appreciate
the
you.
chat, thank you so much for pulling up. Make sure you're sharing out the stream. Also, if you have specific questions, please feel free to ask them. Even though I constantly shared out the link to fill out the form, y'all ain't fill out the form, but y'all had over, I don't know, 3K impressions on the tweet. So y'all was sharing it and looking at it, but didn't actually answer or ask any questions. But all right, that's all right. We gonna be all right. I'm gonna ask questions for you because the few that did asked about taxes and an LLC. And well, I talked about taxes before, and in terms of forming an LLC, I'll probably do another one on another panel for that for financial literacy. So stay tuned. We're gonna do another panel for specifically for forming an LLC, S corp, all that jazz. Um, for business credit, I want to look into also telling you guys how to do that part. And also something that everybody really cares about is copywriting and trademarking your brand. So those are future panels that I am planning. Just got to make sure I have all the professionals, and as y'all know me, the professionals of color, I prefer to have on here. So stay tuned. I just gotta do my research and who I grab because I want to make sure the people know what they're talking about when they're on here. Okay, so Milton made us a beautiful PowerPoint.
Indeed, I did.
That I was fussing at him like, where the PowerPoint at though? Where that PowerPoint at though? I was very much
Every other day.
very much in that
Every
professional professor mode, but you know, whatever, it got done. It's pretty. Look at that.
man.
See, y'all see it? It's a pretty PowerPoint.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just gonna go ahead and click on the first one.
So are you on the? Oh, sorry about that.
I guess start off on why people should. What is life insurance? Because we always hear about life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
People talk
So
about life insurance, and then somebody dies, and then there's the GoFundMe to bury them. So talk about life insurance. We'll start with Milton, and then we'll go around.
Perfect. So keep it simple because I know we get long-winded with this answer sometimes. It's protecting your family in the case of anything happening to you, right? Like you mentioned, right? With GoFundMe's, we see if something happens to someone in the family, whether somebody passes, or even in the case of something happening to a house or something like that, right? And we see GoFundMe's and people aren't prepared. Life insurance is a plan so that when you go or a family member goes, that there's a fund in place so we can make sure you have burial funds, and you can make sure that your family's taken care of so that they're not scrambling around for money when you're gone, right? It's this appropriately planning for your future, even though you may not be here, but you're going to give your family an opportunity to still have money when you're gone.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Joey or Nick, did you guys have anything you wanted to add about that?
I think Milton hit the nail on the head. You know, everybody should have a plan in place. We have so many plans for like trips when we travel, everything, and we just don't like talking about not being here. It's an uncomfortable conversation. Uh, but we also want to plan for those things. We want to make sure that the people we love and care about have the appropriate vehicle when we're gone. Yes, we're still taking care of everything after we leave, but we're leaving it in the hands of our family member and we're leaving them in good hands. There are so many different varieties of insurance. It could be specific final expense. I only want to pay for the actual, things that I'm going to have done, such as cremation, burial, whatever. And then you could say, hey, I want to leave a little cash out to my family too. I want to help Auntie Vanessa for all those years that she watched out for me when I was younger. So there are different avenues and there are different planes that you could use this life insurance to set your family up. And there are some avenues you could take that could help you while you're still alive. A lot of insurance have living benefits that we can take advantage of while we're still here. So if you can, wrap your mind around getting that insurance and, seeing how valuable it is, you can start to enjoy some of those benefits.
Yes, no, thank you. We're definitely going to dive more into that. I know as you guys were talking about it, it reminded me that um, my family, we're just, I don't know if we're morbid, but every time my parents go on vacation together, the first thing my mom does, like, I'm gonna send out the email. Here's the updated everything. Here's where this is. Here's what that plan is. Here's the login for this account. Here's
Oh
this.
my goodness.
The one time, I think 75% of my whole family went to Jamaica. And I got emails from everybody in the event that we all die on the same plane. Here's all the insurance policies, and here's everything that you need to know. I was like, but and I know my parents are about to go to Jamaica again in like a week or two, and I know I'll get the updated. here's the accounts, here's the insurances. So not only is it important to do the insurance, but make sure people know what you have. There's nothing sadder when people are scrambling after something has happened and they can't find the policy. And they're like, what? I know they
Uh,
was paying something.
Right.
Good.
yeah, to that point, I speak to people. I won't say every day, but I speak to people a lot of times once somebody has already passed, and I know that it does sound morbid, but it is something you need to prepare for. We prepare for buying a house, we prepare for buying a car, or at least we should. We prepare for buying diapers or having kids or these different things. We don't want to prepare for what we know is going to come. We know that we will not be here forever. So you definitely want to be prepared, but you also, to her point, you want to share information because I have a lot of people come in and they're like, hey, I just got this money. I didn't know my dad had, or I didn't know my husband or my mom had. Like they're paying on these things and we didn't know. Like there's no reason for it to be a secret. If you're married to somebody you think is going to kill you, you probably should be married. But outside of that, like there's no reason to really keep these things secret. So sharing the information is just as important because if people don't know it exists, the state that you live in eventually gets that money. If you don't claim it because you don't know it exists, you're just giving this to the government. I don't
Yep.
think that's the point. So I just want to point that little piece out. I'm not an insurance salesman, but I've seen, that part happen. Not salesman, advisor. But that little piece I have seen happen. So I want to make sure that you guys know it's not just enough to get it. You do need to leave people with information or at least have a safe deposit box where they know that the information is something so that we can, handle it once that time comes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Again, anybody, if you guys, I see you in the chat. I appreciate you for being here. Like Music said, is you don't have to be a content creator. The information is helpful for everybody. It's just something that, as content creators, we often do not talk about. We always focus on, getting that next sponsorship, affiliation, and things of that sort. But we don't talk about real life bills, taxes, retirement, because what y'all doing? We'll go to. Is there a particular slide I should be on, Milton? Before
Um, no, so we can stay on that first slide. That what's most important to you.
I. Okay.
So, when we speak on it, you got
No,
anything
go
else
ahead.
you want to go to?
Go ahead.
So, that first slide you guys see, it says what's most important to you, right? And that's the biggest question I like to ask everybody because when we're talking about planning, you have to figure out what's most important to you. If you're single, is it just your finances and your future? If you have kids, is it your family, right? Or is your mom, your dad, your cousin, your brother, right? Because these things give you the avenue to help you understand exactly where you want to go. If we don't know what we're planning for or what's most important to us, we can't figure out how to detail out what's needed, right? So a lot of people all like have a hard time answering that question. And that is the trigger point to help us to start planning because some people are fresh out of college, are fresh into a new job, fresh into a new family, into a new marriage. And if you don't have these talks with your person, with your partner, with your family, and have these uncomfortable conversations of, okay, what if something happened? What will we do? Right? You're never going to have the idea to actually start planning. So, what's most important to you is always the biggest question. And I feel like a lot of people don't think about that. So, that's why that first slide is always very, very impactful because sometimes it causes certain emotions, but it's important to look at that in hindsight.
Exactly. As creators, we are hustling hard, and a lot of times we are in, um, you know, we'll receive our money, our payouts, but taxes aren't taken out of it. So you have to sit down. Also dental. You don't have insurance. You don't have medical insurance. So you need to plan for that. And then if something happens to you, you need to plan for that. So take that time to think about what is most important to you and your lifestyle. Uh, if the subs don't come in that month, what's the plan? Where's the money going to come from? So you really have to take that moment to think about how you're going to support yourself, especially in later years.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Absolutely, and I think the key point is like as a 1099 employee or a business owner, a brand owner, right? The important piece is that now you have to plan for life differently. Like you said, you got these bills, you got your insurance, you got different things you wanna plan for. But also the next part is you need to not only just plan for the end, how am I going to retire? How is my money making money? How much am I saving? And am I saving it responsibly? Like, is my savings account 0.01% interest, or do I have a high yield and these different things? So sitting down with someone, and 99 times out of 10, sitting down with an advisor of any sort is free. So the information for you is free. It's right here. Obviously, we're giving some of it to you today. We won't have time to give you every bit and piece, but sitting down with somebody is definitely free. So the information is there. Just go get it, because there's so many different segments as being your own boss that you have to make sure you have covered. You don't want the subs to not come through. You don't want Twitch to go out of business, and now you're in a place where you can't afford to live for 6, 8, 9 months. You want to have money in places where you can, survive comfortably until things were to get better if you're dependent on that. So just make sure that you're not only planning for the end, but you're also planning for things that could possibly happen. If they don't happen, you just have extra money. You got to plan for your kids' college. It's a lot of ways, especially since you're not being taxed. It's a lot of ways to put those money in places that taxes don't even affect it. So I'm not an accountant. The accountants were last time apparently. I'm just saying there's some things out there like a 529 account for college where it doesn't get taxed. So just FYI. But yeah, you definitely got to be planning when you're your own boss. It's a lot of work.
Yes, and um, as a creator, depending on how old you are, that really affects how aggressive you need to be in terms of saving for your retirement. Some content creators are in their 20s. You can be a little bit maybe loose, but still get your planning. The earlier you start, the better. But stuff, But if you're now in your 40s and you're like, oh, okay, let me start planning for my retirement, that's wild. Um, but you'll have to be a little more aggressive to plan for your soon retirement. The years come by quick, and you think, oh, I'll start saving next year. Mm, what? So a lot of times people are like, "Oh, Vicky has so much money." It's like, no, I mean, I'm comfortable. Don't get me wrong, I'm comfortable. But I, Vicky, when it comes to retirement, is good. Vicky at retirement has her pension from the state. She has her 401ks, her deferred comps, two 403bs, a second pension, and some stocks that I need to actually be a little more aggressive in. Uh, so when I sit down to retire, if that Social Security don't is not there when I finally retire, because who knows how they talk and how they moving, we might not be able to depend on that. That might not be there, y'all. Um, you have to plan to support yourself. I know, they talk about something crazy, millions of dollars that you need to retire. Maybe that might be true. I don't know, but I'm doing my budget, trying to figure out what works for me. And if I need to flee to Mexico, apparently a lot of people are doing that now. Then that's where I'll be. Y'all can come visit when I retire. But it's really important, especially if you are a plans A, B, and C exactly. If you are not paying all like the taxes and Social Security and everything, we'll say Social Security will be there when you finally do retire. It's based off of the money you've been putting in throughout your whole lifetime. I don't think everybody realizes that. And depending on how much money you put in, that's what your checks size going to be. So if you have not been paying into Social Security this whole time, your check might only be $100, $200. How you living off of that every month? I'm not quite sure. So
Right.
please, the more checks you got coming in, the better. I said this saying once before, and on another panel, and people looked at me crazy. But I'm gonna say it again. It's very country. The saddest thing is a rat that has one hole to call a home. Y'all don't want to be only one avenue. Always have multiples coming in. Okay? I know, I said that before. People were like, what? I was like, I know. It's very much a country saying, but it's true.
It's true. It's definitely true. Hey, listen, I don't know that you needed us with the advice you just gave out.
Yeah,
All these commands that you got. Like, I don't know that we had to be here. But I mean, it's not a nail you didn't hit on the head. But to that point, you need to be aggressive. Back to his original question, what's the most important for you? You need to answer that, like he said, with your partner, with your family, with whoever, but you need to answer it at stages. You know, on a financial side, we're gonna say, okay, what's most important to you now? Boom. You tell us, cool, you can buy that. That's fine. All right. What's the most important to you when you get 50, 60, 65, 70, and so forth and so on. And then we figure out how much you need to make during those years, right? Some of us need to make only 3,000 a month. Some of us need to make 6,000 a month. Some of us need to make way more. And I don't know what kind of bills you have if you do. But the point is, you need to plan that because, again, Social Security is not going to carry you. Um, the highest Social Security check I've seen is like $3,500. Now, it's decent, but when you think about monthly bills, it's not that much, right? So you need to think about, well, what are my plans? Is my house going to be paid for once I retire? Where am I going to be at financially to be able to enjoy life or survive life and enjoy it? From what all the things that she has, she gonna be able to enjoy life for real, like trips. We're doing everything right, and maybe that's not important to you, but whatever is important to you, you need to figure out that maybe you want to leave more behind and not go anywhere, and that's okay. It is what it is. But whatever it is that you want to do, you need to plan for that to happen because it's not going to happen without a plan.
Yep.
It's not going to happen without life insurance. If you want to go on those trips, then you need to be paying for life insurance now so that when you go on those trips that your family is able to bury you. It's nothing more sad than a GoFundMe. I never give, by the way.
I
I
don't
never
either.
give.
I'm
You're right.
not gonna hold you.
I'm not stingy. I do give to people, but
Yep.
like GoFundMe's don't strike me as something I need to give to. It just doesn't catch my attention. So your family is literally out here scratching for nickels and dimes to bury people. Me and Joe, we're brothers, so we have an uncle that is a mortician. His price is going up consistently. It's been going up since I was born. He lives a good life. Okay, so it's gonna continue to go up. He lives such a good life. He saw a house in a city that he liked. He had the house picked up and moved to another city that he lived in. That's how good he's living. That's how good he's planning because they make money off of people passing, right? So you want to make sure that the family still has something left after the undertaker come and get his. And
Yep.
that it's funny. It maybe sounds morbid, but it's a fact. So, um, to that point, what the question I would have for Joe and Milton,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm 30, 33, 35,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a streamer, what should I be doing right now when it comes to life insurance? I want to leave my family with enough money to bury me and, you know, send the kids to college.
Oh, that's a perfect question. Mind if I go first?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So one thing is we got to assess where you are, right? Because every streamer's income is a lot different, right? So certain people can afford to have certain insurances. There are a multitude of different insurances. People think insurance is one avenue and there's only one thing that you can get. And for some reason, people think insurance is super expensive when it's not. right? It's very affordable, and depending on what you're making, you can get a lot of insurance and help yourself in the meantime as well as your family down the line, right? So let's play this scenario, right? You're a 33-year-old streamer, right? You're making, let's ballpark it, around $20,000 a month off of streaming, your subs, your affiliates, whatever you got going on, right? I will
Let's
always work.
hold on. Sorry. Let's bring that money down, cause most
Okay, okay.
bring it down.
Where we go?
Um,
So give me a ballpark number. Let's give me a ballpark number.
we'll say 5,000. I'm being
Okay.
very generous. 5,000's very. I'm gonna, I'm gonna bring it down to 3,000. Yeah,
Okay, but
exactly. SB,
it's
who making that? Well, you know what? I'm gonna bring it down. You know what? Let me just do some math. Right? Give me a second.
go ahead, run your numbers. Run your numbers, and
Hold on,
I'll give you
player.
something.
Okay, hold on, cause okay, we'll say if they
My
did.
boy, my boy SB said, "Damn, who making that?"
Not any of us. We'll say right. We'll do that right. So I'm gonna say they're making 2,500, and that is
That's good.
Modest.
that is that's a blessing. So we're gonna say that, and that's
2,500.
and we're saying those are people who are they're bringing
Okay.
in
Okay.
the big names are doing those really big numbers.
Okay.
So
Okay. Cool.
we'll
So my next
say
my
2,000
next
or
question,
less.
2,000 less. Okay. Cool. I can work with that. Right. That will bring my next question. Is this your only stream of income? Are we talking about streaming being your only stream of income?
Yeah, there's
Is
a
that
lot of
20?
streamers that are full time.
Okay.
That's
So
their
that
only
2,000 to
income.
2,500 is their only stream of income.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So what I would suggest at that age, right? If you're healthy, because we go through a plethora of different questions when we're trying to quote somebody for insurance to see exactly what you need for you, right? So if you're healthy, you don't have an extensive medical history, right? I'm talking about like very, very big things that have happened in your past, right? I would say I always recommend term insurance. Term insurance is the most valuable insurance you can get because it gives you the opportunity to stay protected now. And as your income grows, you can always convert it into what most people like, which is a whole life policy, right? Because within whole life policies, we got something which is called cash value, which is basically in time and in the most simplistic way to put it, you can become your own bank, right? Because when you build cash value in the policy, rather than having to go to a bank and having to go to Uncle Sam and get taxed for money that you need for yourself, you go within your policy, you borrow against your policy, you can put the money back right back into your policy, right? But in terms of starting off, if you're only making 2,000 to 2,500 a month, a term policy will be great because you can get a large amount of coverage for your family. So if anything would happen to you, your family is covered, right? Give you a prime example. I literally have somebody who I wrote a policy for 2 days ago. He has $500,000 of coverage and he pays $20 a month for his policy. If you tell me you can't afford $20 a month to protect your family for $500,000, I'm like, you got to put your priorities in check because to only pay $20 a month and you're getting $500,000 in coverage, that's letting you know, okay, my family is protected, right? My family is good, they're secure. I may not have a different life insurance policy, but I have a great one because now I know if anything happens to me, my family is good. And if my kids or my spouse or my mom or my dad need money in the future, they can pull from that. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't set anything up for yourself and you go and there's nothing to grab from, then that's when we see the GoFundMe's or you see your family panicking or taking out all these astronomical loans that they can't pay back. So baseline, a term policy is always great for anybody, whether you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, your 40s, or 50s, because you can get it for a very affordable price and have a lot of coverage.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit more about what's whole life insurance you mentioned?
Okay. Yeah. So whole life insurance is a policy or insurance basically for your the entirety of your life, right? From the day your policy's inception into the day you pass away, right? So with the whole life policy, the difference between a whole life policy and a term policy is simply this, right? Term there's no cash value, and cash value like is simply you're building up money that you can borrow from your policy, right? So, for instance, in a whole life policy, let's say you're looking to make a big purchase in your life, right? And you don't want to go to the bank to borrow money. When you're constantly paying into your whole life policy, right? You can go to whoever your agent is and go, okay, cool. How much cash value have I built up with my policy? Now, everybody's amount is going to be different based off of what you pay per month and based off how much your policy actually is, right? But everybody begins to build up with a decent amount of money over time, especially when you have your policy for years into the future. You can take money out from this policy. You can use it to pay for your kids' schooling, whether you're getting a house, making a down payment, or whether you want cash for vacation. Your policy in itself becomes your own bank, right? Granted, now I will advise against this. This is money that you do pay back to yourself, but it's yours. It's not taxed. It's your money, right? Only difference is if you don't put this money back, it just gets subtracted from what your actual policy face amount is. That's all it is. So whole life is a game changer for a lot of people because it gives them the freedom to say, okay, I'm protected in the future, and I can also use for my policy while I'm still here.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Can
that
I
was
ask a? I know I asked the original question, but now I got another question.
Okay.
I feel like Milton answered that question, but he created another one in my mind, and hopefully somebody else's too. So if I have a whole life plan, what? And Joe, you can answer it. It doesn't matter who answers it, but if I have a whole life plan, do I have to wait till I have a certain amount to borrow it? How does that work?
so.
And
Okay, okay,
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
go ahead, go ahead,
Generally,
go ahead with that part.
when it comes to borrowing, that is a great question because you'll see a lot of videos from content creators that say, "Hey, you can borrow money from your policy." And they
Mhm.
don't get into the ins and outs because it's a spreadsheet that we're all going to sit down and look at it and discuss and tell you how this money is projected to grow.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to definitely let you know, hey, the first 2 years you're not going to be able to take out $50,000 because you've only paid in maybe five or
Mm-hmm.
3,000. You may be able to take $100 out. So it's good to have a plan as to when will I need to take X amount of dollars out, and
Mm-hmm.
how much am I willing to fund this policy for?
Yep.
Because we can, say, hey, you can take $50,000 out, but depending on what your rate was, how much you chose to be your benefit, it could take you 15 years to get that amount of money to take out.
Yep.
So when you sit down with your financial planner or your life insurance agent, these are the type of things that you need to be serious about and answer truthfully because they can only work with what you give them. Because a lot of people would be like, oh man, they didn't do me right or whatever. No, you weren't honest with yourself when you sat down. This is very serious. So, um, you know, I want to touch on the term insurance. If you're 30 in your 30s, term is just like having car insurance. It's basically renting insurance, um, in a way because you're paying them a set price
Mm-hmm.
to cover you for this amount of time. And once that payment, let's say you lapse in payment and you don't pay or whatever, or that policy is over, it's done. You no longer have insurance. Whole life is exactly what it sounds like. It captivates your whole life. You could pay for whole life in a one payment deal, which is extremely expensive. You could pay for it in 10 years to cover this
Mm-hmm.
whole life. You can pay for it in 20 years, or you could pay for whole life, your whole life, if that's what you want to do. It's
Mm-hmm.
all types of plans out here. A super big benefit is being young and getting life insurance. So something that I did, I'm not telling anybody to do this, but my daughter is when she was 6, I got her a whole life plan. It's cost what 30,000. I mean, not 30,000. $39 a month for me or whatever. Because I didn't get it as soon as she was born. If I got it as soon as she was born, it would have been cheaper. But well, she was saving $39 for the next, I want to say, 20 years. It's a $50,000 policy. You can't get anything bigger than that until you turn 18. So with that, I'm like, hey, my daughter's gonna go to school for free because I'm a disabled vet. But I still gotta pay for books. I still gotta pay for room and board and things of that nature. So daddy ain't paying. Daddy is gonna get a loan from his daughter's policy, or his daughter's gonna get a loan from her policy and fund her future. And she will still have a benefit that is deducted from whatever she can take out. So let's say, for example, she has $50,000 policy. She's only eligible in 20 years when she's uh 27 to take out 10,000. She could take that $10,000 out, put it on her first apartment, put it on her down on her first house, and that deduction is going to be taken from that 50,000 in the event of her passing. So she will be able to pass that on to her family members, and it'll be on, $40,000. But the funeral will be, and stuff like that will be covered. So it is so many ways, it's so diverse as far as how you can put your plan in place. You have universal life insurance, which is basically um, a little bit of your life insurance policy is going to be in the stock market, and it will grow over time. However, that could be costly because you can say, "Hey, I want $1 million policy." Well, now you have to fund that policy potentially $19,000 a year. So you have to have a spare $19,000
Mm.
to fund that policy. And let's say in 5 years of funding that $19,000 a year, funding that $1 million policy, you have $50,000 to borrow from. One of the things that Milton said that was a very great point. You can borrow and you can pay back, but you're paying yourself back. However, unlike a loan that you get from a bank, a conventional loan, you don't have term. That means, like he said, you don't have to pay it back. It just deducts out of your death benefit. So you could take that 100,000 or whatever, put it in an account, gain interest on it, go into a business venture, whatever. You can go buy yourself a scat pack, Hellcat, whatever, and enjoy life and go from.
Don't buy us that.
You know, it's your money. You know what I'm saying?
Don't sing. Don't put those thoughts out there. Oh man.
But the question I got for Nick is, how does all of this fit into your financial plan? Like when they sit down and talk to you, what questions do they need to ask so in order to build this plan up to where it's structured right?
All right, so let's go back to the beginning, right? We're at $2,500 a month, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's a much harder conversation with a financial advisor, right? Because we in your business, like we really in your business. One, I'll get to the good part later, but so you don't have I looked at the chat. I shouldn't have looked. Anyway,
So wait, real quick, we need to help Debbie Snacks fund her video vixen dreams. So we'll get back to
Okay.
that. Go ahead.
Okay.
yeah, no, she saw me in a music video, and she called me a video vixen, and now that's anyway. So neither here nor there. It was a good video. Go check it out. No, but seriously though, so I have a whole separate life outside of finance.
Mm.
But so we would definitely have to talk about, what your bills are. Because $2,500, I'm gonna be honest with you, $2,500 is not a lot of money if you have a lot of bills, right? So if you got a mortgage, if you have you got electric and all those different things. Now, so I'm gonna talk about what the household income is. We're gonna figure out some things from there, um, and go that route. Do you have kids? If you're 33, 35 and you have kids, we're going to talk 529. Like, what have you done to plan for their college, right? Um, while it's amazing to be a disabled vet that looks like he's getting around fine and his kid be able to go to college for free. All of us don't have that. Now we got to prepare for that. And that $50,000 policy probably not taking care of college. So now we got to plan for that with maybe a 529 plan, which is literally you just putting money into a place for your child, right? And as long as they use it for school, it's never taxed, which means you get to use all of your money, which is very rare, right? So it's just different concepts that we have to kind of figure out. What's most important to you still is going to be the most important part, but we're going to try to make other things important to you because you have to plan for the future. Again, if we're making $2,500 a month and you're single, we're trying to find out how can we make whatever's left make a little bit of money, right? And that's after life insurance because it's not a financial advisor out there you're going to talk to that says, hey, you should never get life insurance, right? So we're going to say, hey, you need to go do this, but maybe you don't need that $1 million policy. Like you don't have $1 million policy money, but maybe go get $20,000 so that your family just doesn't owe anything, right? And we're going to be realistic with it because you're not making the kind of money, depending on the bills, where you can afford to get the $1 million. Everybody wants it, but how about just your family doesn't have to have a GoFundMe? That's okay. You did good. Shout out to you. Right? Every policy doesn't have to be for a lot of money, but let's not put your family in debt. Also, the good part that they mentioned about borrowing from your policy, that is not debt. Right? So when you want to go buy that house, I'm switching gears here, right? To the real estate part, but when you want to go buy that house, now that doesn't go into your DTI. So depending on whatever other bills you have and whatever student loans or whatever's on your stuff, also student loans only count for 1% of what the payment would be, by the way. But whatever other bills you have, now we don't have to include that. So borrowing from your life insurance is a much smarter way than maybe going to get that loan, right?
Oh wait,
It's
real quick.
similar to borrowing from. Go ahead.
What's DTI? I know what it is, but the average person might
Yeah,
not know what
you got to break that down for
DTI
people.
is.
See what I'm saying? I appreciate you. All right. DTI is what your lender and your lender's who's giving you the money, by the way, but your lender, your bank, whoever is giving you the money for the house. DTI is debt to income ratio. That is what determines how much money you get or if you can even get a loan over your credit score. You can have a 700, 800, 850. If your DTI is over 50%, you not getting no money. Period. That's just what it is. So, debt to income ratio. Thank you. I appreciate you for catching me on the acronym.
No
But
problem, no problem.
now there's a whole.
Wait, you went out.
They're looking to, and your lender will talk to you.
Wait, no, you're in the matrix.
You glitching, man. You glitching.
Glitching just a little bit.
Am I back yet?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
You're
we
good.
got you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop moving. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. You were very passionate.
But yeah,
They didn't want you to get that
you're
information out to the people. That's what that was. That's the government.
that's what it was.
Mhm.
But no, yeah. So your lender will talk to you in DTI terms. They'll tell you what it is. Get pre-approved. That's very important. It doesn't affect your credit score to get pre-approved, and it lets you know where you are. If you're working for yourself, so you're 1099 and you're a content creator, you need 2 years of doing that, 2 years of tax returns, in order to get approved by most lenders, not all, but most.
Okay, wait, let me just
So
jump
if you've been
in
doing
real quick. Yes, people. Yes, content creators. You have to file your taxes. You can't dodge that. I understand. Again, go back to my taxes video. I might make a playlist of these videos, these panels that I'm holding, so y'all can just grab it real quick right off of my YouTube. But you have to file your taxes, okay? Especially if you want to then turn around to buy a house, a condo, or whatever. If you're not filing, what are you going to show that you're able to afford whatever you want to buy?
Mhm.
You have to file. I know you don't want to. I know some of y'all, I see y'all, because I be fussing at y'all on my Twitter. I see y'all be like, I didn't file yet. I did an extension. I did another extension. I still haven't filed. Oh, I guess I gotta file now. I see y'all. I'm judging y'all. And some of y'all I judge openly, and I tell y'all about yourselves. Please file your taxes. You have to do it. Okay.
Great point. I did a consult on Sunday or Monday, and I talked to the person, and they said most of the money I get is hustle money. I said, so have you filed taxes in the last 2 years? It's like, yeah, it was like 20,000. I said, I will talk to you in 2 more years. Report all your cash, okay? Because there's nothing that we can do with that. You may not be paying the government, but also nobody's going to give you money. You're reporting 20,000. We don't care if you can hustle. Nobody cares about that. We're adults, right? It's what you can prove. You can't prove that money. That's the whole point of you not reporting it. You couldn't
Mm-hmm.
prove it, right? The government couldn't prove it. Well, now you can't prove it, and home loans are government products. So if you told the government I only make 20,000, now the government's holding that paper. You said you was broke. You said you didn't have it. So how can you afford it? And that is where we are. So definitely want to report it. Definitely want to pay those taxes. There are other ways to avoid taxes. You probably should have been on the last one when she had the two accountants, because I don't know those ways, but I know there's other ways to avoid taxes legally,
Oh yeah.
right? But you want to report those funds if you're planning on buying a house. So I just wanted to switch that gear and let y'all know about purchasing homes. So just 2 years of your 1099s in most cases. Sometimes we can get past the 2 years depending on situations, but 2 years of 1099s and you should be good. And when it comes to investing money, there's a lot of different ways that we can do it. You just got to tell us what your plan is and what you want to do. So,
Yes. Again, everybody in the chat, I see you. I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Please, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We have amazing people on the panel here to answer general questions, because obviously state to state things are different. But please feel free, ask, clarify some things. Okay. Can I click on the next slide?
What slide are we on now?
I don't know.
No, you don't even have to click on the slide. I'll piggyback off of something we were talking about a little bit previously too.
Okay.
So I know there are people in the chat who have children, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned it. It's just to clarify so they understand what it's called. If you ever look into it, it's called a juvenile policy, right? If your child is under the age of 18, it's called a juvenile policy. And I think it's one of the smartest things you could possibly do for your child. I've written them for almost all my friends and their kids because one, cheap, right? You can set your child up for the future by paying $40 to $60 a month. We spend most of that on the weekend anyway, whether it's trying to look good for somebody, going to get some food, telling somebody, yeah, I got it when you don't got it, and you still give it to them. If your child is the most important thing to you, or your nephew, your niece, whoever that child is in your life, if you want to put them in a predicament where they don't have to worry about money in the future, set them up a policy, right? And it's amazing how policies grow, right? One thing I want to add too is over the course of their life, they can up their policy amount 5 times, right? They have 5 opportunities in their life to up the policy. So it means that you can start at $50,000, right? Because sometimes, and so depending where you are, what state you are, you can't go higher than that, depending on your age. But 5 times in their lifetime, if they wanted to go from 50 to 100, they could. If they want to go 100 to 300, they could, and they could up it all the way up to as high, whatever their income is, right? So by the time that they're a full-blown adult into their career, and they figured out, okay, I'm going to make this amount of money per month, and I can spend this much, they could have a policy as high as they want to. You set them up to have a cash value, so like school, first car, first apartment, or some people in college, when they get to college, they want to go on spring break. Give your child the opportunity to have a little liquid cash that they don't have to stress about, right? And
Miami
especially
is a
if you
great
have
place. Miami is a great. I mean,
no
hopefully
more
there's no
spring breaks in
videos
Miami.
from my time in Miami. There might be some, but I'm just
Oh
saying it was a
man,
great time. Real quick, Spaniard, I appreciate the raid. Thank you for coming through. Thank you. Miami.
Miami is crazy. Let's not get off tangent though. So, but yeah, you give your children the opportunity to not beg you for money. Like that's how I put it to my friends. My friends was like, we spending money on this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. When they get to a certain age, mommy, daddy, they don't have to do that no more. It's hey, I want to take this out of my policy. Okay, cool. What are you taking out for? Granted, you want to have those real life conversations that hey, don't pull from this unless you absolutely have to. But giving a child an opportunity to grow up and not have to penny pinch is probably the biggest thing. Maybe you grew up doing that. And the biggest thing is cutting curses, right? We don't want to have a child struggle like we did. I watch a lot of my friends struggle. Now their kids don't have to struggle. So it's like that's the most important thing. Give the people that you're around an opportunity to grow for themselves. And even if you're listening to this and you don't think like, all right, cool, this is not for me, I know you know somebody, right? We all know somebody that's in a predicament where they either have kids or they need insurance or they need planning. Planning is nobody's bigger than planning. We all need a plan, no matter how much money you make or how little money you make. Planning is important. If you don't plan, you put yourself in a bad predicament. So
I
I just wanted to
mean,
touch back on that.
everybody gonna die. If y'all not gonna die, uh, can y'all send me a DM real quick? Cause I need to know. Even then, I don't know if I want to outlive everybody. That's a whole nother philosophical vampire esque question. Um, but everybody gonna die. I'm sorry. I hate to tell y'all that. I don't know if y'all ain't know
Oh
that,
man.
but you're going to. So it just depends on near your end of your life. Are you going to be a burden to those around you? And how's that going to work? Thank you, Prince. W immortality, right? Like, let me know
Oh
if y'all
man.
know. But
Oh
to my
my
knowledge,
goodness.
ain't nobody found a fountain of youth. So
Yeah,
Well, they're
Larry.
not gonna have a fountain of youth in these Hellcats while they driving to Miami. I don't know, but
Nope. Bad combo. That's
right. But hey, the other part that I think we all agree with is that um make sure you guys and again we don't have time to say everything, but make sure you guys put together a will. If you own have anything, put together a will. It's not that expensive, guys. It's um free templates online. You can find ways to put together a will, get it notarized, let people know what your final wishes are. Again, maybe not the most easy conversation, but have it and set it up. If especially if you have these life insurance policies, because the worst thing in the world is having families fight over what little is left when you planned on leaving it to everybody. So put that together as well. You got to plan for the end, but then you also have to put the will together to plan for the end because everybody's not going to get along. So I just wanted to say that little piece because that is super important to me.
yeah, no, that's real. And if you set up somebody to be the executor, make sure they are aware of it and what your final wishes are. Also, have a living will. So, when do you want the person to pull the plug? Um,
Hmm.
you know.
mm-hmm.
Nowhere, nowhere,
Right.
nowhere the policy is. I know the professor said this earlier. Uh, where is your information? If you don't know, like let's say your parents or auntie, uncle, whoever, talk to them. Find out where all the information is. Ask them how
Mm-hmm.
they want things to be carried out because we know how ugly it can get after the passing of
Oof,
somebody.
oof.
Uh,
Let's talk
people
about it.
want people want to take claim and stake to things that may or may not have been intended for 'em. So have them draw it out. That will is super important. Um, and when you said that your family's going on vacation, they let you know everything. People pass on vacation, guys. People pass on vacation, and if you're in a different country, you got to take special procedures to get you back.
Oh,
So we need to make sure that you have these plans in place. so everything is good. We don't know when we're gonna go, but we need to be prepared, just like for anything else.
Yep.
Fact. I hate to, I don't really want to go there, but I'm gonna go there. Like to bring that point home, that Joe just brought up. So, his best friend and also my other little brother, no relation though, went on vacation and never returned alive. Right? He was 30 something. Right? Had he planned for it? I don't know. His mom was, in a place where it didn't matter as much, but um that just goes to show like you really don't know. And it sounds crazy. My guy was riding in a side by side. He was having the time of his life, okay? And it just it was that time. We don't get to determine it. So make sure you set this stuff up sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
It really like that it really runs home, man. I mean, it really hits home because it hit home. So not to kill the moment or anything, but you literally have no idea. So
Mm-hmm.
don't wait another moment before you hit Milton up or Joe up. I don't know how y'all can get in contact with them. I'm sure they'll tell you later, but don't wait a moment to get the information. I saw somebody say something about any insurance companies that we recommend. I'm sure they definitely have some. I don't have it, but just hit those guys up
Yeah.
and let them, tell you, where to go from there because it is super important. And there's no age that's off limits to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and prepare for it. The sooner the better. You only have to prepare once, right? So just prepare for it and get that over with. And then somebody said earlier about age being the younger the better. So go
Yep.
ahead and prepare for it now, so you don't have to worry about it later.
Yep.
And I know for me, I want to have praise dancers. I want, what I'm saying, I want everybody to be seated, and I want them to then wheel me in so I can be fashionably late, right? And then that guy that was like singing, what I'm saying, and they were like walking real slow and lifting their legs up and stuff, and then they pick the casket up and then they twirl around. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna need those guys to carry me out.
I got the perfect policy for you.
So I'm gonna need that. We gonna sing "Gangsta Lean." Um, I don't want "Amazing Grace." I want "Gangsta Lean" by DRS.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh
And
my
I
goodness.
want a white casket with no, maybe black casket with like a pink trim. Hmm. And I want my name in script on top, right? And then
They could put your whole picture on the top if you want now. It's
ah,
like
Screen print.
yeah, go
Go
ahead.
right on top.
Right on top.
I know, but like
Screen screen print under dirt is wild. Like just, I just, I'm sorry, that is wild.
I don't think
As a financial advisor, I cannot side with you spending money on that. Like,
I mean, I feel
Oh
like the
man.
screen print is kind of cool. I just got to pick the picture, and I already,
it's
set up
definitely gonna
like
be a picture.
sunrise to sunset on my on the program. I want from dusk to dawn, right? So I'm gonna flip it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta write my obituary though. I gotta write that.
Wow.
Anybody write this down? Because we gotta make sure that's very detailed. We gotta make sure that's written down. You know what I'm
Man, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Laugh too hard. I'm not gonna. You really put a screen print on this? I'm not gonna be able to.
I want to hire professional funeral goers. So I want people to be crying and falling out.
Oh,
In
this
case
is a full blown production.
Oh yeah. And I need somebody to act like they're gonna jump into the grave and then they gotta fall out. And then I want somebody standing in the background, all in black. And I want them to walk up to the casket and then like do like a little earpiece, like, yes, it's confirmed she is dead, and then leave.
Wow.
Get her that. Y'all get her that Tyler Perry life insurance. She need the
Yeah.
Tyler Perry that policy.
People gonna be winning Oscars at your funeral. That's crazy.
Literally.
See, Thank you, Debbie. I need the full production when I go. And
Yeah.
you
This
don't
gonna be
limit
a BET
nobody 2
special.
minutes. They get to go longer if they want to talk about good about
This gonna be a BET special. Oh my lord.
me. So yeah, so what policy do I need for that?
I got the right one for you. I got the right
Talk to
one.
Joe. Yeah, talk to Joe. 'Cause that hurt me. Cause what?
Y'all don't plan your funerals like that? Y'all weird.
I don't. I've never
No.
heard something that detailed before. All I heard is I want to be laid to rest and I want my family to be taken care of. That's all I get all the time.
Nah, my family don't need
Yeah.
nothing. Put all the money in the funeral.
You, that's
That's crazy.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah. No. I wouldn't advise. I would advise against that, guys. I'm gonna advise against that one.
Yeah. I
That
think
is
I
not.
think I think we 100% agree on this. All the professionals is like, no, we're not doing it.
That's a three against
Yeah.
one. You just don't listen to that. Let's skip that last part.
Yes, you
you
can
don't
kick people out, Debbie. Kick people out. I'll give you a list of
you
people I don't want there.
don't put that last part in your will. We all meeting up in Biloxi, putting it on 17 Black.
Oh, that's true.
I
You
mean,
know what?
basically,
Thank you, because I forgot that I wanted the whole like New Orleans procession. Like I need them to have me in like the white carriage, and I need people dancing with parasols down the street and everything.
That's what.
I forgot.
That's
hey,
wrong.
Thank you.
as your financial advisor, I'm not, but I'm gonna say I am. I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna do all that. We are gonna do all that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
we're gonna we're gonna make sure you get exactly what you want, okay?
If
That
you
is
plan
crazy.
and like you could do a burial fund, if you know a funeral home that you want to work with, you can start your payment plan now on
Yeah,
top
you
of
can.
having life insurance. So keep that in mind. A lot of people don't know about burial funds. I just learned about them from working in my field with social services and individuals, not having anybody to pay for those services.
Mm-hmm.
You can prepay all of that. So I can prepay for a lot of my foolishness.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think they have a plan that's as expensive as what you're looking for.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I haven't heard one like that. I think that's up there.
I
Yeah, like,
think for everything that you want in your funeral is doable, but your insurance plan is gonna need an insurance plan, and I'm here to help you with that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, insurance is gonna.
insurance for your insurance. That's
Insurance for
crazy.
your insurance. I like that one. I heard that before,
I,
but I
I,
like it. It just sounds
of
better now.
course, y'all like it. Of course, y'all would like it. I
Um,
don't.
Sounds
I don't
good.
like it. Okay.
So I'm just saying, you have to set up your retirement plan, your burial fund, and then your insurance to pay for all the foolishness.
I mean, I guess it would be dope for your funeral to be as hype as your wedding was. That would be dope. It's not gonna happen, but it would be dope though. But it's not gonna happen. If y'all not crying at my funeral, I'm talking about on. I don't even want y'all at the new church. I want y'all at the old church with the wood pews. Okay, that's
Oh
where I want y'all at my funeral. I
no.
want y'all to be uncomfortable,
oh,
crying.
we got share Bibles at your funeral.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
Ask your neighbor. You feel me?
the church fan gotta have my face on it too. But Lex Frost asks, what happens if the business like that goes down after you've prepaid?
Wait,
Uh,
say that
Good
again.
question.
what happens if a business like that goes down after you've prepaid?
Oh, for the funeral expense.
Yeah. A lot of times they transfer it, but it really just depends.
Yeah,
Some.
if
Yeah, funeral homes
Oh,
very rarely go out of
under.
business without being purchased. Like they're usually purchased by somebody. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll probably transfer, but I mean it's gonna be situationally based because it depends on why the business went out of business and
Yeah.
who was invested in it. Investors get their money back first, and then it's a lot of things that happen. So it's kind of hard to answer that question. But if it's bought by another business, typically it transfers. Go ahead, Joe.
that's a great question though. Since we're not in that prepaid business like that, definitely ask that question when you get there, and don't accept whatever generic answer try to see what is really going to happen with your money because you're doing this for a reason and they can't just give you a generic answer like this is where you put your investment. So definitely ask that question to whatever establishment you choose for further info because that's a really good question. Where does that money go if they go under?
But you could just get life insurance and not worry about it.
I always say do both.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Get some life insurance. You don't have to go big. Start small and scale up.
Yep.
Start small. Scale up.
Exactly. So content
All right.
creators, if you're not making a lot of money, you can definitely do the smaller policies to start. Like you don't have to, like they say, you don't need the $1 million policy because maybe you can't afford it. Do what you can to cover yourself for later. Go ahead. Somebody, you have
Yeah, I got you. Quick question though. So we talked about a content creator making $2,500, and I really thought about this while we were talking about it. Not this is not a plug. We did not practice before, y'all. I promise. Um, I just met these people like 30 minutes ago. Except I mean an hour ago, except for my brother. But
no,
that's
you
not
met an
true.
hour ago.
But seriously though, if I'm a content creator making $2,500, and let's just say I am a hustler, right? I do know how to make money, and this topic is important to me, and I am going to get a life insurance policy, but I want to help other, like I got friends and stuff that I want to help get insurance, life insurance policies. What does this career look like too? Because I think I could still be a content creator and sell life insurance. I feel like I could. I don't know because I don't sell life insurance, but I feel like I could be a content creator and life insurance agent. Is that true? Like how what does that even look like? Just asking.
It can play hand in hand. It can definitely play hand in hand, right? If you have a platform that you already use, create content, depends what content you're already creating, right? We see now a lot of people are using platforms to educate people, right? If you go, you get registered, and depending on what you're specializing in, right? Like for myself, I do life insurance, annuities, retirement plans, 401 rollovers. I mean, pardon me, 401k rollovers, and long term care insurance, right? So if somebody were to get into all those different aspects, you can literally set up your platform to where you're talking about something brand new every week. You break it down into sections, right? Now you're giving yourself the flexibility to not only have a secure job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you have your platform, which can grow exponentially. Now you can use both hand in hand. It is the matter of what your platform is. If your platform is you're playing video games all day, you can still use your platform. Now, okay, cool. Let's make a second one. I'm going to use this as my leisure, and I'm going to use this to to really push my business because if you're already used to creating content, you can create content for something that you have a hobby for, right? Because we know how we can monetize hobbies. But now, okay, this is nitty gritty. Everybody needs a plan and everybody needs insurance, whether we want to talk about it or not, right? Not everybody wants to subscribe to me playing a game, even though it's very interesting. But I can play my video game, and I know there are people who want to subscribe. But also, I'm going to give people knowledge that they don't have. But now, the people who watch me play the game, oh, what do you do in your regular life? Oh, this is what I do. Now you can just, it's a pendulum. You can use it to your advantage. It's just a matter of how you attack it.
Yeah, for sure. What was the question? I kind of got lost in the sauce. There's so much good info.
So the question is like, well, I mean, he really answered the question, but the question was basically how, like, am I able to be a content creator and also do this for more income? Because obviously, we talked about how $2,500. Well, I talked about you guys didn't, but I talked about how $2,500 isn't
That
a
ain't no
lot of
money.
money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I didn't say it's not no money, but it's not a lot of money. So
Yeah.
we're gonna come up with ways for our money to make money, and maybe being in the insurance business is a way. I don't know that it is, but if it is, how could I still do both? I only want to do content creation full time, so that's what the question was.
well, big shout out to whoever is out there making $2,500 in content creation because I tried and failed. So I just want to give y'all applause. Thank you so much for sticking with it. Um, yeah, it's definitely a lot of ways you can make money with selling insurance, and it pays very lucratively at different stages. As you progress, you make more. I know people who make $20,000 a week selling life insurance. I know people who make $100,000 a month. I know someone who makes $1 million a year, which is 100,000 a month, a little bit less than that. But I also know a couple who makes $40,000 a month selling life insurance. It depends on how deep you want to get involved, and it's a very, very lucrative business. And like Milton said, you could have something different to talk about every day in your content creation. It could be from a little, one of those shorts on YouTube to something, extremely long. I think it's a lot more than the shorts. That's your attention to your actual. Yeah, once you build a team up, you could. I mean, essentially, you have employees
Mhm.
or people that you show the game to, and you make a small percentage off of, maybe
Mm-hmm.
5 to 10% off of, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you can work those deals out yourself. So if you're super honest like me, I don't really want to make a lot of money off of you because I know how important it is to make money. So I want you to get out there and educate and recreate exactly what I'm doing for you. So pass that along, and you hit your warm market. If you want to sell a policy to your family member, and you want to make that commission, then let's do it. That's going to get you ready to go talk to everybody else out there about it. And also, that's your side hustle to your main hustle, and it's not really taken away from anything. You're still creating. You're still able to give people great info and help them out with whatever situation they're trying to dig out of, and continue to grow and go. That's
Mm-hmm.
the name of the game. Like teach, and teach them how to fish, and you'll never have to teach them how to fish again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
it's a
Cool.
beautiful avenue.
So
Cool.
let's pivot a little bit and talk about
Okay.
retirement
Okay.
planning, for those days when you no longer have to hustle hard and you can just
Mm-hmm.
chill and enjoy
Yeah.
yourself. So,
Perfect.
Cool. So,
Uh,
okay, cool. So the insurance part is going to be slightly different from what we look at. Slightly. Obviously, I told you at the beginning we're going to introduce you to that because that's something that you need, and they have options as well, right? But um, one of the things that we're going to look at from an age perspective, I think, I don't know who said it earlier, but aggressive versus not as aggressive, right? So the younger you are, the more aggressive we're going to invest your money, we're going to invest your funds in different things. And the older that you get, obviously, the less aggressive we'll be. If we're using stock market terms, that's what I mean, aggressive and not aggressive. So the older you get, the more we want to save and put it into a place where maybe the money grows, but there's no risk, right? Um, but so if you're that same 33 to 35 year old, we're going to look at 401ks, right? You don't need to work for a company to have a 401k. We're going to look at your insurance options, your annuity options, all those options as well. And I'll let y'all talk on that because y'all are the experts on that. We're going to look at stocks. We're going to look at, like I said, those 529s. We're looking at all these things to pay bills so that there are no bills when we retire. We want to
mm-hmm.
pay off everything. If you're coming to me and you want to buy a house, because again, I do real estate, we're going to look at maybe we don't want to do a 30-year. Maybe we do a 15-year payoff plan, right? Or a conventional loan, I should say. So we're going to look at things that eliminate bills when you get to that retirement age. Nobody determines your retirement age but you, right? So if you want to retire at 50, bet we can do it. Absolutely. These are the steps that you're going to have to take for that to happen. And as long as you follow it, we can get there. And if you don't follow it, maybe it's 65, right? But um retirement is completely optional. You don't have to work till you're decrepit. You don't have to. You just have to tell us when you want to. I want to hang it up at this age, and I want to travel, and I want to do these things. And we're going to put together a plan, whether it's through stocks and bonds, and well, nobody does bonds, but anyway, it's whether it's through stocks and all these different things. Um, it could be bonds, but whether it's through stocks and these different things, we're going to determine what that plan is, crafted for you. There is not a one. one size fit all plan when it comes to retirement because everybody's goal is different. If you're 18, you can set a plan to retire at 40. It's gonna be aggressive and it's gonna be difficult, but you could definitely do it if you're disciplined enough. So retirement looks different for everybody. It's like I said, it's a conversation you want to have on a one-on-one basis, but it's a conversation based on where you are in life when you want to stop working and what you want life to look like when you stop working. So investing, 401ks, saving, high interest savings accounts, CDs. It's going to be a lot of different products put together. It's not just one product. Hey, this is the one that's going to retire you. It's going to be a lot of different products put together. Life insurance will be a part of that. Annuities will be a part of that. Like it's a lot of different things. Like, hey, we need to do all these things for you to retire at this age. But from the financial side, those are the things that we'll look at, and then we'll get into different products specifically.
Yeah. So I guess jump into those specific products because a lot of people might hear those terms,
Hmm.
but they have no idea what is what. So,
Okay.
especially since we're going to be winding down soon, so like jump into what those products are and what they.
All right,
Yeah. Go ahead.
got you. So I'm gonna toss it to y'all in just a second. So if you don't know what a CD is, you probably heard the letters CD, but you may not know what it is. So it's a certificate of deposit. There are different types. There's a flexible. All right. If we're planning for retirement, we're not going to use a flexible, but a flexible means, hey, you can pull out some money from time to time and it not be a penalty. We don't want you to pull out money. We're planning for retirement. So we're going to do something featured or something term or, they're depending on what company you go with. And there's a lot of different companies that do CDs. They'll be called different things, but the point will be the same. So whether you can take money out and no penalty or you take money out and all the interest you gain is the penalty. Those will be the differences for simplicity. Those will be the differences. But you're going to put your money in there for a period of time, 7 months, 14 months, 13, 12, 25, whatever. And you're going to gain a certain amount of interest, 5%. Right now we're looking at good rates. So we're at 5%, 4.5, 4.8, different percentages like that. The more money you put in, the better, right? If you have 100K, we may look at 100K or more, but we may look at diversifying. We may put a certain amount, 30,000 in a CD. We may look at some stocks. Hey, we can be aggressive here. Let's buy some Tesla stock. We've all heard of Tesla. Let's buy some Microsoft stock. Let's buy some Apple, right? Things that we know people buy, and we may buy them at certain times of the year, right? We're gonna buy Apple stock right before the phone comes out. That's just how it works, right? We're gonna buy Tesla stock after they announce or right before they announce their yearly financials, depending on the year, right? And different things. We're gonna just aggressively invest, but invest in things aggressively at different times. Versus, if you're younger, we're gonna invest in Coke, and we're just gonna leave our money in Coca-Cola, y'all, not cocaine.
I'm like, wow,
But
I didn't know that was. I
all
could
right.
get stocks in
Yeah,
Coke.
like
That's wild.
sorry, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, or Amazon. Let's just use Amazon. We're gonna invest
Oh
in there. We're
man.
gonna stay there, right? Um,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it went bad quick, but we're gonna invest in Coke is wild, right? But we're gonna invest in these bigger companies. We're gonna pay attention to the things they're doing. We may invest in some bonds in those companies because the risk is lower. It just depends, but those are the products. CDs are a huge product right now. They were kind of off-putting before because the rates were so low, but right now the rates are extremely high. So if you have some extra money, throw it in a CD. I promise you, you won't regret it. So those are the things, and the thing that never ceases to exist. The one thing that is always good to invest in is real estate. Every billionaire in the world is invested in real estate, so why wouldn't you? It's there. You can grab it. It's not a company that can go out of business. It's that property right there, right? Buy something on the outskirts of your town, your city. Cities are always going to expand. It may take 20 years, They're always going to expand. So that's also something you can leave, or something you can sell later in life, right? And create more money for your retirement. So that's another thing. That's another product, if you will. But you guys tell us what you have on your side that can help us with retirement.
You go ahead, bro.
I got you. So, one big thing that I specialize in, especially for a retirement, is annuities, right? And what an annuity is, we create a savings account for you so that your money grows, right? The money that you put in, right? It's not like you're putting your money into the market. You're putting your money into a company that's going to allow your money to grow. And over time, you have the ability to have your money convert into a long-term stream of income, so that when you retire, you don't outlive your money. Now, you can take 401ks and roll them over into an annuity account, right? Because if you're coming from, let's say you have a previous job, right? And a lot of us, we sign that paperwork and we don't check what we're putting into our 401k. You ask a lot of people, like, hey, what's in your 401k, or how much you earning back on your 401k? They don't know, right? They don't know what their company matches. They have no idea, right?
Which is wild.
And
I don't
some,
understand those people. What you mean you don't know that? Some of my friends don't even like. They're like, wait, I should do my 401k. What? You don't even. What? Do they match? Yeah, they match. What? And you ain't getting
Yes.
that free money? What's wrong with
some
you?
people don't even know. Some
But
people don't
then,
know that you can match your 401k, right? So
wild.
like, let's say you're coming from having a regular job, right? And then you're going into full-time streaming. Understand, you can pull from your 401k. You can take the entire amount and put it into an account so that you can begin to grow an account that's going to guarantee you dividends on your money every year. It's not like you're putting, like I said, you're not putting into the market and it's like, all right, it's fluctuating. And no, it's not that. They're doing it. Your money is growing every year so that when you get to a particular age and you want to retire, now you have a permanent stream of income depending on what you're putting into your account, right? Some people start small, and we always say, you can start small and scale up, right? If you're young, start small, scale up. If you're at an age where I would say you're mid 30s, right? You just left having a regular job. You don't know what's in your 401k. You go to check it. You go, all right, cool. I have this amount of money. We roll it over into an annuity. We set you up an account, and now every year your money is growing. So that when you decide, okay, I'm hanging it up, you have a guaranteed stream of income. So it's important to understand what you had, so we can figure out exactly what we need to put you into. And I can't stress this enough. If you had a job before, or you have a job now, if you have a 401k at your company, or you have an IRA, whatever you have, make sure you know exactly what's in there. Make sure you know what your company matches, and make sure if you've taken out from it in the past, okay, make note of it, right? Because some people pull from their 401k all the time and don't realize, okay, I took out $16,000, and now it's gone, and you didn't put it back. So understanding where you are so we can set something up for you in the future. That's the biggest. Like annuities are they sound like a foreign language to people because they're like, how can my money grow? When you put your money into companies who have high savings accounts, you can never lose out on that money. We're not throwing it into a market and you're like, all right, cool, my money's earning this year, and then the next year it doesn't. It earns every year. So that when you get to a particular age, once you say, okay, I'm hanging it up, okay, this is what you're gonna make every month. So it's important to understand what you have out there. That's one of the biggest things that I get into is annuities. Joe, you got anything that you want to add on to that?
I mean, I think you hit all the bases. Annuities can be really beneficial, depending on where you are. Um, I'm not a big fan of annuities. However, if that's where you want to set your money and get that income, learn everything that you can about annuities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Any other products or
That's,
terms that people should
that's
be?
not like the way to. That's not a way to end. Like learn everything and then just stop. Like that's not.
Let's do
I
the
thought a
cliffhanger,
point was
right?
coming. Yeah, I thought it was like gonna be another point. Like learn everything you can.
Learn everything you
Back to
can.
you.
Yeah, so each product, depending on where you're at in your life, might not work for you. So just be aware of what works for you. Sit down, have a good discussion with your financial advisor, how aggressive you plan on being, and what your, like they said at the end, like what is your goals? What do you want to be? And your goals do change. My goal at 20 something, I want to think about nothing. But like my goal now, I am very much aware of my monies and where my money is going. So just um, keep that in mind that not every product might be best for you, and sometimes you have multiple products working. So again, ask
Oh,
the questions.
I'm sorry. We got a question. It said, and this is for you guys. So if you take out money from the 401k and put it into an annuity, would you stop receiving those checks you would have gotten? I'm not 100% sure what they mean, but maybe it makes more sense to you guys.
I don't think that it's not worded badly. It's just worded a little confusingly. So the question was, if you take out of your 401k and add it to the annuity, will you stop getting your check from your 401k? Is the question?
I guess so. I
I
guess
think that's the question.
if
Yeah,
you take out your whole 401k, then your 401k is
There's
gone.
nothing. Yeah, there's nothing there.
There is no more
But
checks to get.
but whatever is left in your 401k, you will still receive it. It's just a diminished amount from what it was before. That's all that happens, right? If you take it out and there's, let's say, some people 401k, they only have $80,000 in it, right? You take out 20, now you all you're left is with that 60. But if you put it into a different account and it grows, you can have an opportunity for that money to grow on a dollar every year. So you may lose out on your 401k, but you can grow it in a different account. That's all.
yeah. And if you take out, this is a real question, but if you take your money, let's say I left my job and my
Mm-hmm.
401k is there, and obviously they're going to ask me what I want to do with it. If I roll it into an annuity, do I get taxed or is it still taxed?
It's taxed.
It's taxed. So I only thing I lose is the tax money though. I don't
That's right.
lose
You don't lose a
anything else.
401k. You lose that small percentage that is taxed every year. But like as it's growing, that percentage that is taxed versus what it's growing at, it balances out.
Absolutely, absolutely. I understand.
Wait, let me just
Yeah.
clarify. When you take out your 401k,
Mm-hmm.
you and then you roll it over, you're not taxed at that point. No,
No.
no. Okay, good.
But the
Uh,
thing is, what I mean when I say take out your 401k, people understand you don't have to necessarily take it out of your job. I'm saying if you're transitioning in between careers, right? Because if you have a career, continue to pay into your 401k for that particular job, right? It's if you're leaving one career and you have a 401k looming out there, right? If you have one for the job that you're currently employed, leave that alone. Pay into it, right? Because it's going to grow, right? But if you have one looming that is just a, because once if you don't take it at a certain point, it's gone. So roll it over into the different accounts that you still have that money. Because if you don't claim it at some point, there's no longer there.
Yeah. I've
Gotcha.
seen annuities used in this pretty cool way. It was an older lady in the Panhandle of Florida. She, I want to say, put it was a lot. It was a lot. It was like $1 million+ or something like that. And she wanted to make about 80 something thousand a year. And she was able to meet that threshold. And so what that annuity does is it's going to gain interest, and the interest is going to pay out to you. Um, and I want to say she was on an annual base payment plan or something like that. And she was able to get that money every year for however long she lives, and it's gonna fund. She's pretty much paying herself $80,000 plus off of the interest of the annuity. Some people, let's say you hit fame and you make a lot of money, and you want to put that money in there, you gain that money for X amount of years. Let's say you're 30, you put $1 million in, we can pay you $120,000 a year. That's gonna last that could up to 30 years that you get that money every year. And so it could be extremely beneficial for your lifestyle. You have some annuities that will pay out immediately,
Mm-hmm.
immediate annuities, and then you have others that won't pay out. They may take 5 years before you gain any interest. So if you're planning for the future and you have a substantial amount of money, or not even a substantial amount, but you have a decent amount and you know what that interest payment is going to be yearly, you can start gaining money within the next 6 years, paying yourself off of that interest, that comes from that annuity. It's a very smart, it can be a very, very good thing if you use it appropriately and you understand it. That's why, because Everything doesn't happen right away. Some of these plans are going to take time. So you have to, um, hey, I can put this $230,000 away and it's not going to hurt me. You have to be in that kind of position. Or I can put this $10,000 away and it's not going to hurt me. I'm not going to need it later. Because once you lock it in, it's not going to be so easy to get it out. Because you committed to a plan and they're trying to make this money work for you. You can't, it's not a savings account. It's a serious, these are serious investments. So you have to be in that mind frame when you go to set these deals up.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. To that point, um, live below your means, right? Understand that the plan is not for now; it's for later. And everybody doesn't have to have the newest J's. If you are a person that has to have that, that's cool, great. Investing and planning for your future may not be for you. I'm not saying just Jordans. I'm just saying, like, if you have to have the latest and greatest everything, if you have to travel every weekend, if you don't want to be able to save, if that's not your lifestyle, it's okay. Somebody gonna put up a GoFundMe at the end. That's just what's gonna happen. But if you want to live life and leave a legacy and also be successful in your later years, because we're planning for our futures, right? Life insurance and stuff, it's also planning for our futures. It helps the family and all that good stuff, but these annuities and stuff are planning for your specific future. So don't have to have the greatest right now, because some of those people with the greatest right now won't have anything later. Plan to have the greatest later, right? Um,
I
Make
know.
that a decision. So
Yeah.
you can have some of the greatest stuff now. I'm not saying don't buy anything. Maybe don't buy a Hellcat and go to Miami. Maybe pick one. But but I'm sorry guys. But you know,
Oh
um,
man.
But I know,
it's definitely a plan for later
yeah.
situation as well.
And I always fuss at my friends, like, okay, if you're buying those brand new Jordans or whatever, um, before you buy it, did you also buy some stock in Nike? Because if you can't afford the stock and the sneakers, you don't need either one. So
That's
you don't
great.
need.
That,
So for
That's
every
right.
pair of Nikes I have, I also have stock in Nike. Because I am free advertisement walking around, so I might as well get my little dividend check at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Or
you
at least buy something that you can resell and buy several stocks
yeah, and
in
if
Nike.
you
Like this plan.
did you just get the new iPhone? You about to go to the new iPhone? About to drop 1,000 plus on the iPhone? Did you buy some Apple stock?
this is a question I got for the Nick, the financial planner. Do you guys build a portfolio to where you're investing in a lot of dividend stocks for your clients?
Well, first explain what
Is
dividend stocks are, because not everybody knows
all
about
right.
dividends.
All right. So a dividend company. So if a company was profitable, and I think, well, maybe not everybody has seen, but every year each company has a huge meeting, right, with all the stockholders and everybody. And they have announcements. Apple, when they announce the new iPhone, this is their meeting, by the way. They announce their financials. That's the only part that you want to pay attention to. When they announce their financials to their investors, they also release a whole sheet. We'll talk about that some other time. But anyway, during that period, if a company was very profitable, if you invested in their company, right, they may decide, hey, we're going to pay dividends this year. A dividend is only, they're paying you money, a percentage, they're paying you money for investing in the company. So you've already made, let's say you bought the stock at $30 and it went up to 60. You made that money. That money you made. If you sell the stock at 60, you made that $30 for each stock you bought, stock that you purchased. But the dividend is just extra money because let's say we made way more than we planned on. So because you invested in us, we were able to do some things and make some extra money, and we're gonna pay you out. Now it's not gonna be that $30 per stock, okay? But let's say maybe we're gonna pay you five per stock, and you got 700. So you're still gonna make some money. Obviously, there are huge stockholders. They make the most. But as smaller stockholders, we also make money based on the company. Now, if the company's not doing so good, they don't have to pay out dividends, and you may not see it. Or if it's a startup company, you may not see it for a couple of years. But basically, if the company's doing good, they pay out an extra bonus and they call it a dividend. So there's that. That was the first question, telling you what dividends is. I forgot the second one because I wanted to make sure I got that right for everybody. So I don't remember the second question that whoever
I was,
asked.
I was just basically asking, do you guys like design their portfolio around like investing in dividend stocks to kind of help their returns a little bit?
Um, Investments are extremely, like, you go where the market is hot at, right? But you also are, it's extremely individualized because it depends on the amount of money you got, how much you're able to put away and forget about. Because to your point, this is my at-risk money. Yeah, I got 10,000 I can put at risk because when we're talking about stocks and dividends and stuff, you could also lose it, right? We're going to try to put you in the best position to not let that happen, but we are not psychics. We don't know what's going to happen. We can only tell you based on trends that have already happened. So we're trying to predict the future, but it's not a perfect science. So we're going to put money in a place, or the amount of money you can put in a place to not miss it. With that being said, it's individualized. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of suggestions done depending on the amount of money that you have. If the smaller the money, the more aggressive. So the less likely it's going to have a dividend. We're probably looking at closer to startups and stuff, right? Because we need a pop quick. We need to get this little money to turn into big money, right? The more money you have, we're probably looking at something that's going to guarantee dividends and stuff. It just depends, or we may look at a mixture of things. So it really just depends. It's super hard to tell you. I know that sounds like a cop out, but it's super hard to tell y'all a specific answer because there's so many variables when it comes to money. And I'm not gonna help. I'm not gonna tell you to put yourself in a position that I wouldn't put myself in if I was in your position. So it's just very individualized, very personal. We have to be completely honest with each other. You got to tell me everything, right? Like, I might be getting a divorce. She found out. Okay, cool. We need to do this, right? So it's gotta be that level of honesty because it's risky. It's a risky business from that standpoint. If we don't know everything, we tell you advice based on what we do know, and then the things that we don't know hurt us. So,
Right. So
um,
it's a risky business when it's a lack of knowledge that you have. Basically, you putting their money at risk when they're not being 100% transparent.
yeah, absolutely. And I will say, guys, the people that have money that come into see me, they tell me everything. I know they family, they kids. I know they side woman or they side man. I know everything, right?
Decide woman and
There's a
man.
level of secrecy that has to, yeah, there's a level of secrecy that has to go with it, but they tell you everything because they can afford to lose their wife in some cases. They can afford to lose their husband in some cases. They can't afford to lose these thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. That's not an option.
Right.
So you just be as honest as you can. We don't know. We're not hanging out in real life for real, right?
Yeah,
So
you got
just tell us,
to take
and we
risk.
can definitely make a plan for you. But be brutally honest. I don't know anything. Honest, like, hey, I don't know nothing about stocks and stuff. I just know I should do it. Okay, great. We're gonna start you here. Let's start slow. All right, I know everything about it. I want to start here. Okay, well, tell me what you know. Like, prove to me you know everything. We'll do this, right? So just be as honest as possible and as open as possible, and there's a plan for you, but I just can't give like a generic plan because there's not one.
Yeah. So let's wrap up. Any last thoughts? First, Joe at the top. Any last thoughts or comments that you want to share? Also, plug yourself. How can people get in contact with you? Shameless plug.
Uh, Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us run our miles. That was pretty cool. Um, Convenient Enterprise is the name of the company. The number, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Can you put it in the chat at all?
I'm going to put this on YouTube, so I want you to DM me all your information, and I'll put everything in the YouTube description, so it will
Oh,
be there for
sweet.
everybody. Because if we
Yeah,
put it
go
in the
check out the
chat, it's going to disappear after a while. So,
right. I got you.
but yeah,
So yeah,
say it
just
right now, and I'm gonna put it.
YouTube. It's gonna be 404-578-9434. Just go ahead. If you don't write it down, it's gonna be in the YouTube. I'm gonna send you that DM. Uh, Definitely hit me up for any questions. I'm not looking to really sell you anything. I really want to give you the information, give you the game. Uh, that's pretty much it. I'll even show you how to, become an agent and sell it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the route you want to take, we can take that route too. I want to help you grow. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for tuning in.
No, thank you for being here, Nick. Go ahead.
All right, man. Listen. So it's Nick, no nickname. Um, y'all listen. Y'all should probably know where to find me. I saw a lot of people in the chat that I know. Yo SB, Debbie Snacks, um, um, Chad P. I saw a couple other people that know me. But Tune Sandals, yeah, that's me. Um, if you don't know, you will. Just follow me on Twitter. But Nick, no nickname. If you need real information, it definitely will be on the YouTube because I'll definitely make sure that we have all the information uploaded there. But it's been a pleasure, man. Listen, generational wealth is just right there. I see it for you. It's right there, and that's not a joke. It's not a pun. I don't necessarily make money helping you make money. I'll give you the game for free. In the words of Joe, I don't care. I just want your family to be good because we the same color. And that's just what I want. I want you to be good because we family. So if you got any questions, again, DM me on Twitter or check out the information that's under the YouTube video. Hey, look, this was the best platform I've ever been a part of. I thank you so much for remembering that I mentioned it last year. Like I appreciate you so much because you definitely a real one for giving away the game to everybody, but allowing us to help our people. So I appreciate you most of all, Milton. It's been great. We'll share some contact info
Most
somehow.
definitely.
I'll find you. Joe, love you and all that good shit. And yeah, that's all I got.
Milton, shameless plug.
Perfect. At the end of the slideshow, if you go to the slideshow, my email is there. You guys can find me on LinkedIn at Milton Hunter Jr. You guys can find me on Facebook at Milton Hunter Jr. And if you got Instagram, it's 2 underscores MILT. You can find me there. I will make sure that all my accurate information is underneath the YouTube description as well. But again, like everybody said, I appreciate being on here. It has been a pleasure. Just education is my big thing. I'm not here to sell anything. I want everybody to understand where you are and how to get better at what you're doing, right? Because people that look like us don't always get the proper information, and we find it out later in life, and that's the thing that sucks, right? We always got to go scrapping for information. So when you have a round table of people who have the information, it's a blessing because now we can all bounce ideas off each other. Whether you need something or you don't need something, I'm readily available. I teach all day. Like that's my thing. If you wanted to hop on the phone and ask me a million questions, I'm never gonna tell you no. So that's my big thing. Like I said, appreciate you having me on here. You know what I'm saying? I
Thank
really
you.
do.
Thank you. Nah, I appreciate all of you guys for pulling up and being here and sharing your wealth of information and knowledge. I thank everybody in the chat. Debbie, I appreciate you for being the mod, holding it down in the chat. Everybody who pulled up, thank you so much. Great questions, great energy. I appreciate everybody for being here. Again, I will definitely be doing more panels like this, teaching everybody financial literacy, getting professionals on the panel to share information and let it be known. Yeah, so stay tuned. Stay tuned to the Twitter. You'll definitely see me as I share things out. Um, yeah, so we're going to sign off now. Always have a will. Get a prenup. Get a prenup. I don't care what. If you ain't got a dime to your name, protect that quarter. Protect that nickel that you got. If you ain't got a dime, protect that nickel. Okay, get a prenup.
Preach.
But
Preach.
that's a different discussion about the prenup. And I'm gonna put y'all on game. I'm gonna get the information. Hide everything else in a trust. Okay.
There you go.
We should have went there. We should have went there.
We'll definitely, the trust discussion and breakdown. That has to be a future episode.
Yep.
That's a whole nother
Yep.
one. There's so much
Girl,
information
go
out there.
man, girl. Fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up.
So until
Go
we meet
fan
again, I
girl.
appreciate all
Go
of y'all.
fan
Y'all
girl.
take care.
Go fan girl.
Stay tuned
Go
for
fan girl. Fuck it up,
YouTube.
fuck it up, fuck it, hey.
It will be out probably the next day or two. So stay tuned. And until we meet again, bye. Yeah,
Great
so
as you guys.
I'm not rating out. Y'all go find somebody to show love. Okay, bye. Hi guys, it's Vicky from Fangirl Review. Woo, woo, woo. And welcome to my channel. I guess I finally decided to make a channel trailer or whatever. Guys, make a trailer or whatever. Welcome to my channel. Hi guys. Welcome to my channel. It's Vicky from Fangirl Review. Hi guys. Hi guys, it's Vicky from Fangirl Review. Woo, woo, woo. And welcome to my channel.